Hey, what's up guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings NFL Week 14 Wildcat entries. So I had 5 lineups in this contest. It's $333 to enter. Top 1,050 get paid out. I had 2 that finished in the money, including one that finished 38th place. So 38th was good for $3,500. So pretty good week for me overall. You can see here I had one just awful lineup, 75 points. I've got it pulled up here on the right. It was a Roethlisberger and Brown stack. Neither of them had good games. Roethlisberger was decent with 220 passing yards, but he threw 3 interceptions. I believe 2 of those in the red zone, one of them in the end zone. So it could have been much better from Roethlisberger, but he struggled. Jay Ajayi, he didn't do well. He had 20 carries and 3 targets, only put up 7.3 points. Melvin Gordon got injured. Will Fuller struggled, 4.2 points. He was kind of my contrarian, cheaper wide receiver play. Delaney Walker didn't do well, 5.8 points. He only had 2 catches on 7 targets. Lions defense only put up 5 points, which was disappointing for an expensive defense. So just a bad lineup overall. And then I had 3 Eli, 2 Odell Beckham Jr. stacks, and one of them actually cashed, but these 2 could have cashed if Eli had a big game. Unfortunately, he had a bad game, only 28 passing attempts. So the way it was just kind of the game flow. Usually he gets 35 plus pass attempts if you look at his game log, but just the way the game went and the 3 turnovers he had 2 fumbles and 1 interception. Didn't allow him to throw the ball too much. He had 193 passing yards and that touchdown to Odell, which really kind of saved Odell's game. But disappointing that he couldn't have a better game. I could have probably cashed these 2 lineups as well, but this one did cash with Eli and Odell. We had Le'Veon Bell put up 54.8 points, just crazy. That was the key to most people's lineups. If you're going to cash, you probably had to have Le'Veon Bell in your lineup. Taylor Gabriel, I emailed out on Sunday morning as a pretty good play. I had a good game. Sanders with 30 points. He was in the video. Steelers defense was my value defense of the week. They put up 8 points, which was pretty good for a value defense. So overall, pretty good lineup here. And then my top lineup here that finished 38th. This was a Kirk Cousins to Jamison Crowder and Deshaun Jackson double stack. So the only disappointment in this lineup was Jamison Crowder, who was in my video. Liked all of the Washington receivers this week. I thought any one of them could have had a big game. And unfortunately, it was Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson that had the big game. Crowder did not. So I was kind of lucky I went with a double stack here because I got some points from Deshaun Jackson. But Crowder was disappointing with 5.7. Cousins only put up 16.96 points, but the quarterback position was so tough this week. There were so many quarterbacks that struggled that Cousins ended up being a decent play given the other quarterbacks on the week. Le'Veon Bell was in this lineup, 54.8 points. Like I said, just a crazy game from him. Crowell was a value running back, so I didn't love too many cheap running backs this week, which made it kind of tough. I had TJ Yeldon in quite a bit, and then I had some Crowell as well, 3,900. He put up 15.8 points. So that's kind of all you're looking for a running back that costs 3,900 or under 4K. So that wasn't bad there. Emmanuel Sanders, again, from the video, 30 points. He was one of my favorite wide receiver plays of the week. He was just so cheap, 5,700 this week. He had a big game, 11 catches. He had a touchdown, and he hit that 100-yard bonus right on the 100 yards here. Tyler Eifert was in my video, and I'm very surprised he was only 3.3% owned. He's pretty much, I look at him as the number 1 receiver in Cincinnati with AJ Green down, and he's going up against maybe the worst defense in the league. And if you look at his game log since being back from an injury, we take out this game because he didn't play too much in that game. I think he only played like 40% of the snaps. If you look at his other games, he had been doing pretty well for a tight end especially, and he had a great matchup against Cleveland. So I thought that was pretty much a no-brainer pick at tight end. It was just very tough to fit him in lineups because there were so many more expensive guys that you'd want to fit in at wide receiver and running back. So I think I did only get him in one of the 5 lineups, but still very surprised to see him that low. I would expect at least 10%. I would have thought maybe closer to 20%. I didn't really look at the ownerships for tight ends, or I can't remember them, so I'm not sure what he was projected, but I would have projected him maybe 15%, and he was 3.3. So I wish I had a little more of him. Easy to say that after the fact, but he had a big game. Devontae Adams was a little bit of a contrarian play. I knew he'd be lower owned. I knew it was a little bit risky, but he ended up getting a touchdown pretty early, a long touchdown, and then ended up getting over the 100-yard bonus. So that helped out a lot, 23.4 points. And then again, Steelers value defense at 8 points. So 198 points, pretty solid showing there. Overall, pretty solid week for me. And I do have one sweat left here on Monday night. This is a Thursday contest. I only had one entry in this contest. It's $27 entry. Unfortunately, the top prize is only $5,000. There's not a lot of big prizes up here. But obviously, any of these prizes, if I can finish in the top 10, get $500 or more on $27, that would be pretty good. I do have a legit chance here with 148 points and 3 players remaining. I just have I have Tom Brady and Edelman, who I feel pretty good about. But I've got this one risky play here, Dion Lewis, who hasn't done much yet. He has scored 7.8 points or more in all 3 games, but he hasn't done much more than that. I'm hoping that this is the game that he does. If these guys can put up combined 60 points, I might be able to get into the top 10. It all depends on the people behind me and who they have, because there's a lot of 0 player remaining up here, but there's a lot of people that have 1 or 2 or 3. There's even someone who has, I think, like 6 players remaining or something like that. So there's lots of people that are chasing these top spots with players left. I'm guessing a lot of them will have Brady and maybe Edelman as well. Hoping that Dion Lewis is low owned and then maybe somehow has a big game. So it'll be interesting to see. It's fun to have a sweat on Monday night with my only lineup in that contest. So I probably won't be entering the primetime slate, or maybe I'll throw a lineup or 2 in, but I've got something to watch on Monday night either way. So hopefully you guys had a good week this week. If not, hopefully next week is your week, and hopefully I have some more good video picks out probably on Thursday for week 15. So have a good week, guys. Talk to you guys then. Cheers.